going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel, and today we are reviewing Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Welcome back to my Mission Impossible series. I know this is a very late review. This should have been posted like a week ago, but it's out now. You're watching it. Now, hopefully you can just be happy with what you have. So Mission Impossible Rogue Nation was directed by Christopher McQuarrie, and it stars Tom Cruise, Jeremy Renner, Rebecca Ferguson, and Simon Pegg. And it tells the story of Ethan Hunt and his team who embark on a mission to eradicate the Syndicate, which is a rogue international organization devoted to destroying the IMF. Jumping right into my positives, positive number one, the directing. Christopher McQuarrie directed this film so well. His direction here is so good. He also directed the more recent Mission Impossible Fallout, but this was his directorial debut in the Mission Impossible series. The way he helmed the action scenes, the emotional scenes, the argument scenes, just all the scenes were amazing, along with the tension and suspense. He had such a good understanding of what people wanted from a Mission Impossible film. Positive number two, the performances. This is like an A-list cast, alright? Tom Cruise, duh. Jeremy Renner, duh. Rebecca Ferguson, well, yeah. And Simon Pegg, the king of comedy. I mean, Simon Pegg is so funny. Has he ever made a bad joke? Look at all the Simon Pegg movies and try to find a joke in one of them made by him that didn't make you laugh. I dare you. They all did really well in the emotional scenes. They all did really well, as I said, in the argument scenes. Everyone just gave great performances because everyone knew what this movie needed. Positive number three, the stunts and the action, obviously. This has been a positive for me on every single Mission Impossible film. I know you're probably tired of hearing it, but you know what? There's certain things that I have to deal with in life, and this is one of them. Did you really click on a Mission Impossible review and not expect me to say stunts and action is one of my positives? If you did, then that was your decision, and you are free to have your opinion. Most of the time. Honestly, the action scenes in this movie just have such a broad spectacle. They're so well directed, too. Long takes, not zoomed in, ultra-focused telephoto shaky cam. None of that crap in this movie, guys. This movie is nowhere near crap. This movie is near perfection when it comes to action. And obviously, Tom Cruise doing all of his own stunts. Also, Rebecca Ferguson doing all of her own stunts as well. She does a lot of fighting, taekwondo, karate type stuff in the movie. What am I doing? She does a lot of that type of stuff in the movie, and she did it so well. Positive number four, the cinematography. This movie looks incredible. This movie is gorgeous, alright? It's just amazing. I love the extreme shallow depth of field in a lot of the scenes. It really fleshed out the color tones and the color palette of the film. Bursts of color just all over the screen. You can't take your eyes off of it. It's so latching. I don't know who the cinematographer was, but whatever your name is, you have achieved the ultimate cinematographer goal in life. The cinematography and the action scenes, the smoothness of the shots, it was all done so well. Positive number five, the color palette. As I said, there are bursts of color all over this movie, and it is a huge positive. The color palette in this movie is perfection, because like I said, it's so latching. You can't pull your eyes away from the screen. If there is a scene that's boring to you, you still can't take your eyes off of it just because of how amazing it looks. Seriously, they used color in this movie so well, and a lot of it also has to do with lighting. Some of the lighting really brightens up those colors, makes them more noticeable, kind of neon, but not to the point where it's like retro type stuff, and it was amazing. Positive number six, the storyline. One of my biggest positives with Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol was that storyline, the idea that the entire IMF, all over the place, just let go, disavowed, shut down, everything, just complete blackout. And it's still like that in this movie. The entire IMF is still shut down. Except in this movie, they don't necessarily have to clear their name, they just have to prove that essentially they're still the best in the business. And just like with Ghost Protocol, this storyline barely gives our heroes a chance to rest. They need to constantly be moving everywhere. They need to just be, like, all the time. They're always on edge, which always keeps you on edge because you care about the characters that are on edge, which makes you go on edge. Positive number seven, Rebecca Ferguson. She alone adds points to this movie. And trust me, you do not want to get on her character's bad side. All the fighting she did, she was just like the ultimate pinnacle of awesomeness when it comes to strong female characters. She doesn't take crap from anyone. No one. Plus, her performance was also just incredible. Also, again, It's Rebecca Ferguson. How can it not be a positive? Unfortunately, it is time to get into my negatives. Negative number one, the pacing. You might remember me saying that the pacing in Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol was the best in the entire series. The pacing in this movie is really good for the most part, but there are some scenes that do start to drag. Similar to the original Mission Impossible, actually. There's 2 scenes in the middle of that film that started to drag and got boring after a while. Yeah, there's 3 instances of that in this movie. They don't drag for as long as the scenes in the original movie, but they still start to get a little boring. The whole thing with Mission Impossible is that you're on edge the entire time, and you're never bored, and you're just always riveted. There were 3 instances in this movie where I just wasn't. Negative number 2, the villain. My biggest negative with Ghost Protocol was that villain. You didn't even know his name, he was just a big evil guy who really wanted money. The villain in this movie is also a really big evil guy who, again, just wants money. You don't understand why he's a billionaire. Like I said with the villain in Ghost Protocol, he's a billionaire. What does he need more money for? Same with the villain in this movie. I mean, the technology this guy has, he doesn't need any more money. I can guarantee you. So you never understand his motivation, and he does come off as kind of cliched. He talks like the guy in The Godfather who's just like, I'm a bad guy because I need to be a bad guy. Every movie needs a villain, and I am the villain in this movie. That's actually almost exactly how he talked. That's not to say that the entire villain was bad. Whoever played him gave a great performance, and the villain did do some shocking things in the movie. But overall, just not a compelling villain. That wraps up my positives and negatives for Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, and after rewatching it today, and after reviewing it, I feel extremely comfortable and content giving it a 9.5 out of 10. Once again, another great Mission Impossible film. This is probably the most consistent action franchise of all time when it comes to how good the movies are. Because all but one of them have great characters, great performances, great action. Take note, Mission Impossible 2. And every single one of these films, except for 2, has been amazing, and I love every single one of them. Thanks for watching, guys. Look forward to my review of Mission Impossible Fallout. I still haven't bought the Blu-ray for that yet, but trust me, I will definitely have it before I do that review. Thanks so much for watching, guys. It really does mean a lot. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, keep writing, keep shooting, and keep editing.